Well, let's look at this again. It's a decent delivery into the box, and it ends up with a fairly simple finish. Certainly not much the goalkeeper can do about that.
Then, before that person dies or gets better than that person to that. Very, very few are ever going to come to that gap. So it's not a big risk. And then,
well, that reaction says it all. That's such an important goal in this game.
But it's not broadly applicable. You can see we had research on coronaviruses being done in the Wuhan Institute, North Carolina. How much help did it?
Well, the ball is moving once more. How important will that opening goal prove to be?
The answer is nothing. Nothing, because it's inconceivable that so
Alphonso Davies.
To do this weapons research. Here's the finish line of the story.
Well, the scoreline means they can focus on keeping possession. Jones. Well, Fulham have the ball back now.
It was the innovation that made the ancestors SARS-CoV-2.
Sasha Lukic. Plenty of support here. But it fizzles out thanks to that piece of defending.
New spike protein made this thing capable of infecting and spreading.
And back to Mamardashvili. Endo.
That spike protein was the core of the incarnations. You get 2 or more of those shots. Now you create IgG4.
Spot on with that tackle.
Reproduce. Was there
nice weight on the pass. Can he put it away? And he's gone and scored to level it again.
Well, here it is again. The through ball is absolutely inch perfect. And when he gets onto it, he decides to go for power. It's a really emphatic finish, which gives the keeper no chance.
Curtis Jones.
Is now connected to the presence of spike protein. At a bioengineering level, it is trivial.
The ball with Chiesa.
Bioweapons researchers have a problem. If you create, first of all, they have 2 problems. One of them is there aren't that many weaponizable pathogens, right? So they're sort of bored with the fact that they've got small number of these things and they've played around with them.
Jones. And the challenge halts them in their tracks.
So there's also a vast number in nature that you can imprint.
Harrison Reed. Decent looking pass. Really good build up, but no end product. And the referee says play on, advantage Liverpool. But he's retrospectively awarded the free kick, having let it flow initially.
Anything useful is very, very small.
And the referee's whistle. We're officially at the halfway mark.
It creates that is a frightening.
So back underway here into the second half.
Separate those 2 populations. The obvious way to do it is to
pulls it back. Fine tackle there to prevent the chance. Well, just to point you in the right direction, we have more live action from
Derek. This could be a goal here.
And a goal! Just like that, they're back in front.
It's what they seem to have.
Well, here it is again, and it's all about the pace in transition. They're so quick to get out from the back, and it's a top-class finish from Chiesa. He just hits it with such power. That's a brilliant goal.
Well, since they have the ball, the referee playing advantage here. And he did well to cut it out. Might be a chance to break.
That a weapons maker might dream of doing to its enemy. Chinese did not.
Can he put it away? Oh, a clinical counter-attack, and so close to a goal.
Well, that's exactly what they're looking to do. Force the turnover and then break at pace. So close to a very good goal.
Standard vaccines, antigens, effective, but doesn't create.
And a friendly reminder that we have more action from the Premier League coming up. It's Liverpool facing West Ham United. Wonderful chance! Just what the Liverpool fans wanted to see as they extend the lead to 2 goals.
Very effective shot. But nonetheless, the creation of a vulnerability in one population that the other population doesn't have, we can imagine that that was an accident. Let's hope it was an accident. But it does appear to be something that they have created. And the fact that weapons makers seem to have created this with their diabolical research ought to give us pause.
So, if weapons manufacturers were involved in the creation of a virus, especially a virus like a respiratory virus that could go across the entire population of the planet and did, what would be the use of something that only kills old people and overweight people?
Well, I'm not saying that it was a bioweapon. I don't think it was.
You're saying it's bioweapons research that created this virus,
Yep.
but not that the virus was actually a bioweapon.
Well, look, I do not know how crazy these people are, and I don't really know who they were. Right? It's obvious that something
So the ball is moving again. We've been treated to 4 goals. 3-1 the score. Foul there. Free kick awarded. And they're making a change.
Chinese base.
It's not certainly military affiliate, but the head of
Determined defending.
laboratory in question, Xi Zhengli, is trained by Ralph Baer.
What can they do from here?
Right? So
Chance to finish. And a goal! Not over just yet.
It doesn't seem to make any sense given what we all think we
And
understand.
the ball is moving again. 3-2.
Or the allies or the antagonist's mistake.
And also the fact that this
Wataru
funding
Endo.
was stopped in 2014 by the Obama administration. But then Fauci
Harvey
restarted it
Elliott.
under the Trump administration. And
Diogo Jota.
There's no specified goal in terms of like
Options in the middle.
benefit for society.
Oh, might
This
be.
research is done.
Well, they're going to be
There's
very
a
cross with
huge
themselves because that was a wasted
leaks
opportunity.
that's incredibly detrimental, which it did. But there's also, even though they were working on this stuff for so long, there was no cure
For COVID?
for the thing that they created. So, like, if
Now
you're
we're
going to create
inside the final
something
10
that could
minutes of this one.
potentially, damage the human race, so you're worried about like
Joe
what would
Willock.
happen if this.
The referee correctly decided to play advantage.
This thing really did come through.
Still looking to get the shot off.
And then got in
But a
people.
good piece of
We
defending
need
to bring it
figure
to
out
an
a
end.
way
And
to save
disappointing
people.
that it's gone out of play.
But there's no solution. They
So
were
2
working on this
substitutes to
stuff
come
forever,
on in one
and
go.
They didn't have a solution.
Endo.
They didn't have a solution, and they didn't allow the process.
He has teammates around him.
Here's treating patients.
Can he finish them off? Well, he probably should have done, but couldn't take advantage of the chance.
Well, that's a wasteful finish. I just hope he won't be regretting that come the end of the game.
Ivermectin worked on SARS-1. SARS-1 is an RNA virus. This stuff works generally across RNA viruses. It rendered COVID
Jota.
tragic in the sense that we don't need another one to have sort of
It was a menacing attack, but tidied up.
And the way
The
you
sound
use
of the
that
referee's whistle. This match is in the history books, and it goes down as a Liverpool victory.
you
Well,
give to
Derek,
people.
they didn't
Here's
dominate.
what it is. There's a certain point in time where you have to be infectious, not going to be effective anymore.
Absolutely.
And how much time is that, generally?
Well, the amazing thing is even in the studies that claimed that it
Time for a few questions.
it does work. The data they collected, it reflects that it works, even though these experiments were set up to fail. They dosed late, they underdosed. They were done in places where the control group was likely to have high pounds, they don't have fairly high rate. So there's all sorts of tricks that were used, but even in those cases, it still worked. The answer, I would say, is, at least in the case of ivermectin, it's a little different from hydroxyl.
That'll be all, thank you.
Ivermectin, the stuff is so low harm that treating immediately is the way to go because, the difference in its efficacy between day 1 and day 2, and day 2 and day 3, those jumps are substantial. So there's no reason not to give it immediately. And I guess the question is why. We saw all of the skullduggery around portraying ivermectin as dangerous, portraying it as ineffective. So we know that they just lied through their teeth. We also know that they knew that it was essentially certain to work. So why'd they do that? And, there's I don't know how bad the answer is, but the answer is at least that they wanted the pandemic, the so-called pandemic, right? They redefined pandemic in order that this would qualify. But the so-called pandemic would be significant enough to get everybody to engage in the same kinds of behaviors, to accept them, right? So, I don't know. The problem, we're stuck in the same place we always are, which is if we just simply have, we end up in some pretty dark places with respect to what they might have been up to. Why were the weapons makers lying about the utility of drugs that rendered this novel pathogen minor?
Well, do you think the most obvious answer would be there's a pathway to extreme wealth? If you're going to have a vaccine that is paid for by the government, that not only that the government profits off of, right? So they own patent, right? They own a piece of Moderna, right?
Yeah.
So they sold these vaccines to themselves, essentially. They made incredible amounts of them. They distributed them all over the world, insane amount of profit, and then forced people to take them, and then ignored all evidence that there was The medications, in fact, demonize those medications publicly, like what they did on CNN. That's the demon showing its eyes. When what they did on CNN and all those networks when they were talking it and calling it horse dewormer, despite the fact that it had won the Nobel Prize for use in humans.
Yeah.
All that stuff, the most obvious answer would be profit, because you look at the amount of money that was generated. How much money did they make? How much money was generated by Pfizer? Let's ask. Let's take a guess. How much money do you think was generated by Pfizer and Moderna between 2021 and 2023, which was like the peak years where people were taking it? It's kind of tough to talk people into taking it now, but there's a bunch of believers, and I follow a few of them on Twitter that are all in. Take a guess. How much money do you think they made?
Between what years?
2021 and 2023. I think 2023 was the first year it really dropped.
Now it's for real. The tactics and squad strength have all been analysed by...
Hello from the London Stadium, and the weather gods have been kind to us. It's a sunny day in this part of the English capital. I'm Derek Ray at the microphone, and joining me for match commentary is Stuart Robson. And it's all about action from the Premier League in this case. It's West Ham United taking on Liverpool.
Well, Derek, as is always the case, the team that dominates midfield will be the team that controls the flow of the game. And that, for me, is the area that's key today.
Oh, Chiesa! A great challenge, but not out of the woods. It has to be. And a goal to open the scoring. A very bright start to this one.
I don't think it's
Well, I have to say, he's done really well here. He's in the right place and then a decent finish. That's a good goal.
Well, the action underway once again, and the onus is on West Ham to find a response now.
Yeah, I know.
But if you have another effective medication, you don't get emergency use authorization.
First place, I heard
Kudus.
that hypothesis.
In possession, Fekir.
I
And
believe
Liverpool come away with it.
I seem to believe that it's actually that their ability to cheat
Could be. Couldn't grab hold of it.
is so great that obstacle.
My goodness, that save. Fully stretched he was. One for his own highlights reel. Can he deliver it with accuracy? And a confident clearance. Well, the managers will always tell you they don't pay attention to milestones, but it is worth noting it's his 50th.
Oh, Derek, can he finish it here?
Well, the keeper has outdone himself. Wonderful save.
Enough. There's truth in it. They having preventative for SARS-CoV.
They've given it away.
Theory should have prevented the UA, but I don't think that was an obstacle. I think the problem was their real goal was to normalize the
Alphonso
use
Davies.
of a gene therapy on the population
Endo.
that had never had that idea placed in its mind.
Good looking sequence this.
That was one thing. But they also needed the disease to be frightening.
Not allowing them to come onto them. Not afraid of that.
Something radical.
Liverpool in a position of menace.
And
Well, nothing comes of it. It looked promising.
Pressed in, enabled to just simply
Lucas Paquetá.
they would have discovered their treatments, expensive
In
ones,
possession, Fekir.
extremely safe.
Good work from Liverpool to win it back.
They were highly efficacious. They would have discovered the connection to vitamin D, all of these things. And that would have meant two things. One, it would have meant that the degree to which the
Dan's.
mRNA platform got normalized had been much reduced.
And
it was
foul it is then.
massive. Shots, big numbers, that was obvious.
Almost at half-time, it's going the way of the visitors as things stand. Stuart, what have you made of what you've seen?
Well, it's been a tight game so far, but they've just had that little bit more quality on the ball, particularly in midfield, where they've just started to take control. They'll be fairly happy going in at half-time if it stays like this.
And he cuts inside. And there it breaks down, but credit to the defence. And there it is, the half-time whistle. That will do it for the first half here at the London Stadium.
The urgency made it possible not only to bring it to market, but to get everybody, or nearly everybody. I don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. I do think there's something remarkable about the early days of the so-called pandemic, where doctors were primed for this
And the referee gets the second half going. Liverpool with the lead. Will they be able to hold on to it?
Inventions, which meant that they did a lot of harm. Things like ventilators that didn't need to be done, killed a lot of people because they thought they were rescuing.
Superb defensive judgment to end the attack.
The EUA story was good enough.
Oh, it's a superb challenge. Very timely. Counter-attacking possibilities. Defenders need to cover.
Extraordinary emergency circumstances, and so they took a virus that shouldn't have existed.
Wan-Bissaka.
And wasn't that terrifying.
Well, using the space really well, but now can they push on? Stopped a surefire goal.
Something frightening.
Just a quick reminder, we have more action from the Premier League coming your way. It's West Ham United taking on Chelsea.
Makes sense that the emergency use authorization would have to be in place.
Well, he's certainly not alone.
Because you're always going to, like you said,
will he shoot? The fans hope so. Might still be able to do a bit of damage.
Yeah, which is why people on the bench hit the shots.
Danger averted for now.
But if you have no emergency use authorization,
Jones.
then people are allowed to make their own decisions.
The ball with
doctors
Chiesa.
are allowed to make their own decisions. There's a lot of, it's way easier
And it might
to do
be.
it with this emergency use authorization. It's way easier to slip it through. And the only way you can stop that is if all of a sudden, so emergency use authorization is supposed to only exist if there's not some sort of a medication that currently exists that treats it, right? Otherwise, you're going to have to go through all the trials. If there's another medication that exists, so you demonize the medications, you sneak it through, you make everybody take it, therefore you lose the control, and now you've got this platform rolled out. Do you think that they didn't know to the extent of the damage that it was going to cause?
I think they knew.
No hiding from the fact that they really should have extended their lead.
Well, that was a poor miss. Could they come to regret that?
I'm not arguing. It wasn't.
And easily cut out in the end.
Necessary for them to. They could have overcome that obstacle with you. I see where you're saying.
And Patrick Schick now.
And getting people to accept the idea that they were going to take an mRNA shot, right? That was a big leap. And so the EUA was important, and we know that because of the shenanigans around.
Ribeiro.
They ultimately did
Liverpool
get
losing possession.
a shot that they said was the same.
Just a quick reminder, we'll have live coverage of the Champions League semi-final first leg. It's Liverpool facing Borussia Dortmund.
Well, I can't wait to see how the coaches set their teams up for that one. Both will want to lead going into the second leg.
And you couldn't get it. They kept giving them ahead.
And now Sanchez. And that puts them in position.
Gave them a layer of immunity, right? They had been given
Happy to take on the shot. Well, somehow the goalkeeper got to it. And time for the change now.
They said they were the same thing. There's something very
Delivering it.
legal status that
And putting his body on the line. Danger averted for now, but it'll be another corner.
Do you think that the blowback from all of this, the amount of people who are
Any goalkeeper would accept corner kick deliveries like that every day.
It's happening, especially online.
Well, it comes down to the final 5
Makes
minutes.
it difficult for them to roll.
Oh, that's a really good run.
Yes, I think we got it their way.
Will it be? Oh, it's in! And that might be the goal that clinches it for them. No looking back now, surely.
Knows how it's not slow.
Well, let's see this again. This is counter-attacking football at its very best, but there's still plenty for him to do. Under all sorts of pressure from the defender, he's just able to keep him at bay and finishes with aplomb. It's a great goal.
Well, taking into account all the stoppages, 2 minutes to be added on. And that is all for this game anyway. It goes into the books as a victory for Liverpool.
No idea whether you are making it possible for them to develop some proper immunity so they can fend this thing off for all of the encounters for the rest of their life. Right? You're like
Just a couple of questions for you.
Expense and it's insane. And I can tell you, I just found out that there is my next chapter on this mRNA stuff. Which paid any attention to what's going on in Japan. Self-replicating mRNA. No. There's a new version. Apparently, when the mRNA platform that was done was settled upon, there were some competing platforms that didn't make it. And those competing platforms are beginning to make their debut. In Japan, there are protests over what's called a
Thanks so much for your time. That's all the questions we have.
vaccine. I think they call it a replicon. And so notice that the whole mRNA platform was really about doing away with the vaccine factory by turning you into a vaccine factory, right? Your cells became the vaccine factory. And there are reasons that a pharmaceutical company, especially an amoral one, would prefer that. The so remember, one of the things that was done to make the mRNA vaccines that we got work was the mRNA transcript was stabilized with pseudouridine. All of the uracils that would ordinarily have been in that message were replaced by something chemically similar that is sometimes seen in nature, but the more of them you have, the more stable the molecules. So when they told us the mRNA molecules were short-lived, we didn't have to worry about this shot because the mRNAs weren't going to last very long in our bodies, right? They would disappear. That was a lie. They had hyperstabilized these things. They've now given a Nobel Prize for the hyperstabilization process. They wanted to give a prize for the vaccines, and so they gave it for this narrow thing. I would argue maybe it's the worst design flaw in the entire thing, and that's saying something because there are a substantial number of design flaws. But these self-replicating mRNAs, the competing platform, borrows some machinery from something called an alpha virus. And that alpha virus, basically they take the genome of an alpha virus and they include the gene for the antigen that they want your body to develop an immunity to. But they include it along with some genes for proteins that allow the RNA to basically copy itself, right? So now, instead of taking a molecule of mRNA and putting it in with a nanoparticle and making it hyperstable so it keeps making new messages, what they're going to do is they're going to allow the mRNA to duplicate itself biologically inside of you, right? Now this is madness, right? They are running a radical experiment, a new one. The mRNA platform was a radical experiment to begin with. Self-replicating, that's a whole new level of radical. And they are considering, I think they have gotten permission to deliver this stuff in Japan this fall, right? So this is, if these people did not understand the damage that they were going to do, it would have given them pause. They would have looked at all of the harm, all of the people who died who didn't need to, all of the people suffering from, compromised immunity, and they would have thought, holy shit, what did we miss? But that's not what they think. This is business as usual for them. It's clearly business as usual.
The only way you're going to develop new novel medications that are effective is commerce. You're going to have people profiting off of them, which is why they fund them. It costs a lot of money under the current climate. If you have FDA approval, it costs billions of dollars to achieve that. So you need people to be able to make money. But isn't people making money off these medications the real reason why stuff like this happens in the first place?
I think it's a bad paradigm. I definitely want those rare pharmaceuticals that actually do more good than harm.
When you say rare, what percentage do you think it is?
1%.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, that's going to sound crazy to people, but let me defend it for a second.
Okay.
When you have a pathology that's widespread enough for a company to make a medication to do something about it, you are dealing with a failure of the environment in which the creature lives. Our focus should be on that. It should be on what's in our food that we're not expecting, right? Seed oils, for example, right? A lot of us spent our lives not noticing that seed oils weren't what they appeared to be, and that they actually have a role to play in the creation of disease, right? It's not vegetable oil, right? Vegetable oil, avocado oil is vegetable oil. Seed oil.
It's fruit oil.
Exactly, it's a fatty
Right.
fruit oil. Perfect. So the point is that one makes sense because a plant does not want you eating its seed, right? So it puts toxins in the seed. The oil from avocados comes from the flesh,
Right.
which is there to induce birds to take the seed various places. So
Right.
the point is it's designed as a food. So anyway, there's something wrong with the environment. The profitable thing to do is not to fix the environment. It's to create a remedy or something that masquerades as a remedy. And the number of harms that are being done to people is just compounding. So my feeling is the paradigm is wrong. I want the antibiotic to prevent the gangrene, right? We've cured gangrene. People don't lose their arms anymore because they got a wound. That's good. That's a pharmaceutical that's worth having. We should treat it with respect. We should not deliver the stuff where it doesn't belong. But by and large, the pharmaceuticals we have are creating their own demand. Sometimes they're being given because somebody has engineered a parameter that causes a doctor, statins are being delivered because of, a metric that suggests to somebody that you have ill health in some way that can be remedied by these things. It was nonsense to begin with. So yeah, I think the cost we pay is huge, and that the market is going to find plausible stories that cause people to be willing to take drugs, and that mostly, health, it starts in the kitchen. That's something that doctors I respect have pointed out, that this is about what you're consuming. It's about the environment that you live in. It's about understanding that sunlight is an important contributor to health, and that the way we live means that you're probably deficient in vitamin D. It's about all of those things, and the amount of good that could be done just by simply recognizing the environmental component is huge.
Well, that seems reasonable.
I must be a crank.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? That was what was hilarious to me during the pandemic, was people that were clearly not physically healthy saying that the only way that you could be healthy was to take this medication. That, to me, was bizarre. It was so bizarre because they weren't even considering taking care of their body. They were only considering taking this medication as if taking care of your body was foolish.
Right.
Which is so weird. Like when I had Hotez on, he was talking about his diet. I was like, what do you eat? Do you ever work out? Like, he eats junk food. He eats junk food and blasts himself with vaccines.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him, but it's
something not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the contradictory statements over the years, and his stance on vaccines when Trump was president, his stance on the mRNA platform when Trump was president versus the immediate 180 he took.
Yeah. I mean,
Biden took in office.
I hate to say this, but he's either a cold-hearted liar or the most profoundly unself-aware person that has ever existed. I mean, it's stunning.
I think it's two. It's number two. It's the latter, with a little bit of number one. That is necessary in order to be number two. I think you if you're a part of a system and it's really important that you support all of the people above you in this system and that you all work together and you're a good company man. You find profound ways to justify the things that you're saying. And especially if you can use some sciencey kind of talk and talk about diseases and inflate people dying and inflate numbers and inflate this and that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Which is why they attacked me so hard. They don't want someone healthy get
Right.
over it real quick and say, hey, you know me, I work out all the time. By the way, got over it real quick.
right.
That's how I did it.
Well, that goes back to what I was getting at. Everything I saw suggested they wanted it to be as terrifying as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no comforting people, no telling people, listen, it's not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. You're going to be fine. They didn't want to contribute to vaccine hesitancy.
Right.
Because they wanted that money to keep rolling in. And that, the number, I mean, just the shift in that. Imagine if they did. Imagine if right away they said, you know what, this is not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. The way Bill Gates talks about it now,
Yeah.
right? It actually is mostly effective.
Well, thank you all for joining us. All right, we'll take questions now.
The amount of profit they would make would have been significantly less, and the enthusiasm of the platform would have been significantly less.
Yes. I agree with you. You're talking about right. Talking about the industry that's playing this game without our knowledge, right? How do you demonize
Thank you for attending.
drugs? How do you make your pharmaceutical look safe when it isn't? How do you make it look effective when it isn't? Right? That's the game every day of the week for these people. And they found the ultimate version of that game in the mRNA platform.
Both teams have made it this far in the Champions League, but there is one more significant hurdle to clear, and that is the semi-final hurdle. Who's going to make it? It's Borussia Dortmund. They face Liverpool. And welcome to one of the most football-crazy cities anywhere in Europe. We're in Dortmund, famed, of course, for the famous Yellow Wall. I'm Derek Ray, and keeping me company here on the commentary gantry is Stuart Robson. And we're getting down to the wire in the UEFA Champions League. Tonight, the first leg of the semi-final coming right up. It is Borussia Dortmund taking on Liverpool. And not cleared away properly. Oh, that is an outrageously good stop.
Well, great reflection from the keeper. He did brilliantly there.
And the keeper left us in no doubt that that was always going to be his ball. Moving forward effectively. Can they forge ahead? And a goal! The opening statement in this semi-final. How important could that prove to be?
Why are intelligence apparatus of these countries conspiring against the citizens?
Well, here it is again, and it's all about the pace in transition. They're so quick to get out from the back, and then the finish from Salah demonstrates his ability to make the right run at the right time. What a good goal.
It doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a national boundary. It's clearly targeting the civil liberties that make the West.
And back underway. 1-0 it is. Partey.
If we're actually going to survive this.
So what's worst case scenario in your mind? So with all
Marco
the
Reus.
competing factors that are happening right now, what's worst case scenario?
The defenders know you can't really allow space like that.
There's space weather stuff. I'm pretty
But the
concerned
danger
about.
averted for now.
We need to have our coverage.
Sends it back. Real chance. And thwarting his opponent in the
That
nick
we are
of time.
facing the last opportunity.
Corner fired in by Reus. No trouble at all as far as the keeper was concerned.
In order to preserve the West. I really believe the West is at stake in this motion.
Salah.
Everybody will say, everybody says,
Gives it a go. And it's in for Liverpool. Is there a way back for the opposition now?
is serious jeopardy.
Well, let's take another look. And wow, how cleanly does he hit that? The keeper was never going to save it. What a good goal that is. Well, he looks really pleased, doesn't he? His side have been really good today.
2-0 here, and the ball is moving again.
I'm talking about a geographic description. I'm talking about an agreement not to make the world in favor of your people. Agreement
Defensive Brazilians to shut them down. Well, a decent position for Liverpool to be in. But they took care of the situation defensively. Looking tentative.
It increases human well-being at a rate that no other computing system has ever come close to. And it is very strong in one way. Its capacity to generate wealth is incredible. But it
Callum
is
Wilson.
vulnerable. The reason that our founding
Must be!
documents have the strange form that they do.
Oh, he's given it. The referee says penalty. And an opportunity for them to pull one back here. Well, he's avoided a booking, but the complaints continue.
And I can understand why. I think it's a poor foul. It should be a yellow card for me.
A goal! Accurate from the spot. Well, the action continues and the push is on from Borussia Dortmund. Can they find an equaliser? And defensive play to be applauded.
Blue team remains in power and
teammates around him.
dismantles
Well, somehow the goalkeeper got to it.
it's the basis of our freedom.
Delivering it. And he didn't miss by a massive margin at all.
You saw, right? That thing you put up there. The idea is, look, at some level, we've got First Amendment, which is already in tremendous peril. Right? We've got Brazil turning off X, as I'm pointing out, threatening
Super tackle and they've won possession.
uses of VPN to circumvent their block.
Salah. 1 minute of stoppage time has been added on. Oh, the crossbar is still reverberating.
Taken hostage in France. You have
The owner of the Telegram.
Yeah.
And
You
there
have
the first half ends here in Dortmund.
arrested for speaking.
I think
freely.
most fans would be pretty happy with this man's display so
It's
far.
actually
Yeah, he's done okay in that
some
first
ways
half.
the last holdout. Why are we the last holdout? It's our First Amendment.
And the referee gets the second half going. Liverpool with the lead. Will they be able to hold on to it?
You and I lived through an era of terrible censorship. It had to be cryptic. Here, you should. New York
And it's
Times
opening up.
experiment.
Oh, keeper dealt with it.
Raise the argument for unlooking at the Constitution so that people would get used
Over
to
it
the
comes.
idea
Couldn't
that was
grab hold of
not
it.
so that, right? It's dangerous.
Well, they can keep possession now.
First Amendment's dangerous.
And we have more live Premier League action coming up for you soon on EA TV. It's Liverpool facing Tottenham Hotspur. Can he play it in? Not all that hard to deal with crosses like that. What was the chance they could get caught out on the break here?
They tried counterintuitive rights because they understood things about theory.
That's a good-looking ball.
They do.
And a goal to increase their advantage. It's a 2-goal lead now.
Eliminate bad speech without eliminating necessary speech. So
Well,
they said,
just
you know what,
watch
you
this
can't do
again. Salah's pass is
Here's lots
inch
of bad
perfect,
speech.
and there's certainly no doubt about the finish. He really hits it with power and accuracy. Nothing the keeper can do about that.
It's counterintuitive.
So on with the action. And 3-1 the scoreline at the moment.
Say bad stuff, right? Maybe
So
that's
half an
appropriate
hour
in
remaining.
kindergarten classroom, but it's not appropriate in civilization. We have to
Might
figure
really
out
be able to trouble them here.
what's good, what's good, right?
And it has to be debated.
Nobody has the position from which to say which speech has no value. So that's
Nunez.
off limits. But here's the frightening part. It's even frightening.
Well, that one
for
has
racists.
promise. A chance
That
to
First
whip it in.
Amendment is where it is for a reason.
Perfect tackle.
It's the fundamental right of all of us. They placed the Second Amendment
And this is
in
Royce.
the backup position. So what I'm telling you is I am concerned that we are, you can hear our civil liberties creaking. You can hear that document threatening to give way. You can hear the enemies of it experimenting with explaining what they're doing and why they're really the ones who are looking out for your best interests. All of these maniacs are going to make violence inevitable. We have to avoid that. We absolutely have to avoid that. So, I don't know if this is the moment to talk about what's brewing over the course of the next month.
Sure.
All right. So, several of us are organizing
Corner coming up for Dortmund.
an event.
Well, they haven't seen too many chances, but the crowd sensing this could be a turning point. They need a goal here.
Deciding to go inside. A good and fair challenge. Now perhaps they can counter from here. All hands on deck. Great opportunity. And that was goalkeeping right out of the top drawer.
It's absolutely remarkable. His reflexes were brilliant there.
Well, we're inside the final 10 minutes in this one. Sebastian Aller. Well, a classic example of how to intercept.
Transcendent moments.
Jota. Oh, good work to deny the opportunity. Substitution it is for Dortmund. Now sending it in. There's the goal! Surely now, that is that!
In some ways, what we're struggling to do is get past their vision.
Well, here's another look at it. Certainly delivery into the box couldn't have been any better, and it ends up with a fairly simple finish. Certainly not much the goalkeeper can do about that.
It's a massive lead, and it's very hard to imagine them losing it now. Daniel Malen. And given away. 2 minutes of stoppage time coming up.
They're things which I think almost every member of your audience, really any patriot, anybody
Look as though they had attacking. And it is full time. Liverpool will be taking a lead with them into the return leg.
Well, they were really...
But the idea is we're going to get as many people as we can together on the Capitol Mall. And my point would be...
Hi, can you chat to us for a second about the match?
It could be